Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Podcast with me, your host, Freddie Hall. Welcome back, Andrew and Adam, for another Mock the Mock. The clocks have gone forward. Didn't even realise the clock's gone forward. I legit thought the clock in my house had ran out of batteries. So, long live iPhone and their updates and doing things without you telling them to, because I got up for working time and everything was okay. But it does mean it's lighter outside, which is nice. And as we creep ever closer to the summer months when the World Cup will begin and we'll be in beer gardens and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a fun summer. But before all that, there is a big draft to happen in April in Pittsburgh. We're very much looking forward to it. I hope you watched our mock the mock that we did last week. That was Daniel Jeremiah's one. We're going to do another one. We're going to do Joel Klatt 2.0. For people who don't know Joel Klatt, a really, really good college football advocate. He does the UFL as well. Does a bit of NFL as well. He's a guy I'd like to say that all of us within the Franchise Tag Podcast really, really respect and like Joel Klatt. And I don't think we can say that for every single NFL or college football analyst, but
what are you talking about?
I'm not going to name names. I don't think that's fair. They could be watching. Tom Brady could be watching. We don't want to. We don't have a go at him or anything like that. So
we don't want to do a Timothy Chalamet and slag off something and then not get the Oscar.
Yeah, dude. Imagine Greg Olsen doing ballet in front of us at the next time we do. That would be pretty crazy. We respect Tom Brady and we like Tom Brady and we respect and like Greg Olsen as well. Before any haters come out and they go like, "Why didn't you say Chris Collinsworth?" Yeah, well, or Tony Romo. Right, well, we'll kick off. We'll get it all cracked off like we did last time. So we've got the article in front of us. He has done a full show on this as well on his mock the mock. On his mock, sorry, not mock in the mock. So make sure you check that as well. His show is really, really great. Joel Klatt show. It's a show that me and Andrew listen to all the time, watch all the time. Adam, I don't know whether you watch that much Joel Klatt, do you? Or
not a large amount, but I have been indoctrinated by the bald-headed one above me about how I should listen to Joel Klatt constantly, and so I have seen little bits of it, but I have not looked at this mock at all. So
okay. This is my real hair. Have you know? There's nothing underneath. Okay.
I mean, you're not the one above me. You're the one above me.
I'm the one you want to be. Is that
well? So that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, zigga ah. Right, on to the number one pick. No surprise here. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana, to the Las Vegas Raiders. Not going to go into this in too much detail. Heisman Trophy winner, national champion. This is a solidified number one pick. It's going to happen. Number two, we have New York Jets taking Arvell Reese, edge out of Ohio State. Not exactly a shock, no surprise here with this one. We had a little bit of a debate about this last week with Daniel Jeremiah about is it the correct pick for the Jets? Are we worried about Reese going to the Jets? Same things probably apply here. I've heard more about the Micah Parsons comparison. It says here as well, Reese reminds me of star edge rusher Micah Parsons since the fall. He's a sensational player, and I know he's just scratching the surface. Are the Micah Parsons comparisons fair, or is that maybe giving him too much hype in a way? Because we know what Micah Parsons has become, and is it a bit of a danger factor for people thinking, if the Jets fans getting him thinking, oh well, we've got Micah Parsons now, I
was going to say it feels a little lofty to compare him to Parsons, but then maybe that's because it's. Maybe I'm thinking of Parsons as now rather than when Parsons came out. I don't know. Andrew would probably know more now.
The hype behind it is real in terms of he can be. I think that's one of those things of saying what he can be if he lives up to expectation. And I think the talent that is there and what we've seen from him at Ohio State is he can be as good as Micah Parsons. That's his skill set, and that's his sort of like ceiling and above sort of thing. So I think that's what we're kind of saying with this guy. He can be the next Micah Parsons. And I don't think that's over realistic either. So yeah, just Micah Parsons for me had more time playing at edge than Reese did. But as he says, he's only scratching the surface of what he can do at edge. And he was fantastic. So played a bit more linebacker than he has edge rusher.
Was it Jeremiah that had Reuben Bain?
No,
No.
they both went with.
Okay.
I think they did in his first one, but not his third one.
Okay.
Klatt is holding in very high esteem. He says here, I believe he could be a defensive player of the year candidate early in his career, which is a massive big up to him. Number 3, Arizona Cardinals taking David Bailey, edge from Texas Tech. A player that I said in our last mock to mock has gone from being like a mid-20s guy in January to like now a top 3 pick in some people's eyes. And I think I don't remember if I say this in Darren Jeremiah one, but it seems to me when I've been listening to all these analysts and NFL people and people who are doing mocks, that NFL organizations are more in on David Bailey than like the consensus fan or YouTuber or analyst, and that they see more about David Bailey than people outside of that sphere do.
It's traits versus productivity again, isn't it? I mean, he was productive as well, so that's not quite the fact here. But when we get to draft season, the NFL are looking at traits. It's why it pushes people higher. We've seen the players like Bain, who we'll talk about later, who the traits that he possesses are not. The productivity's there, and he was absolutely amazing, but they're looking for this next gen NFL type player, and I think that's why Bailey's being pushed higher than some of the others, and he's risen above on boards.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to quickly say it is difficult because obviously we had the whole thing, didn't we, last year with Stewart, the edge rusher, and how he was incredibly sort of like traits based, but didn't really have much in the way of productivity. And I know obviously there were some other issues regarding him and the fact that he missed most of the off season, but it did kind of feel like at no point did he ever really get going in his rookie year. And I think the thing that people need to remember when it comes to Bailey is that although he is a very sort of traits like player, there is productivity there, like Andrew said. So that's the real sort of bonus for him, and that's why he should be up around this sort of position.
On to number 4, Tennessee Titans taking Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. It says here, we've honed in on a positional value come draft time over the past few years and how much we should value running backs, but we've seen Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs shine in the NFL after being taken early in the first round of the draft. Saquon went at 3, and then we didn't really see it for a minute. And then it sort of became a bit more trendy again, because then it was a bit like, oh, well, you don't really need to pay, teams started to not pay their running back and moved on from quite quickly. And then that sort of reinvigorated then running backs taking a bit higher up because teams were moving off of their running back. And now we've seen it quite consistently where in the top 10 of running back has gone, like I said, in Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, at the time, Jahmyr Gibbs was seen as a reach by the Detroit Lions at 10, 9 was it? From what I remember. I mean, names like that, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, fair comparisons for this guy. Again, I feel like what we said about Arvell Roos and the Micah Parsons hype is Love. The broad question of this is Jeremiah Love generational?
Well, he's blue chip, isn't he? So that's what you're looking at in this, and there's not many blue chip players within this draft, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The wide receivers are very talented and very good, but this is a blue chip player. They need offense, and that's why he's going to be hailed as a top 5 pick, I'm guessing, because they need an offensive pick, and he is the best offensive player in this draft.
I think if you like him, then you're going to go for it. I will say the same thing. I don't particularly like it at that place. I just think it's too expensive. I do feel that potentially the Titans could be a trade down candidate. Someone might come up for him and they might come down. I get that the argument is that their running backs are not great. I understand that, but I feel like the most important thing for them is protecting Cam Ward. and so like that you could trade down and go for an O-line guy. But if you're going to pick up 4 and you feel like you really need it, I'm not against it. I just think it's expensive for a running back.
On to number 5, and that is Andrew's New York Giants taking Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He says here, I want to give the Giants Caleb Downs, who is the safety out of Ohio State, for people who don't know. I think Downs is perfect for Coach John Harbaugh and fits the mold of all those smart, versatile safeties he had when he was the Ravens head coach. But he hasn't gone that way. He's going for another pass catcher for the quarterback, Jackson Dart. Some might debate Mekhi Lemon as a better receiver than Tate, but I think Tate is the better fit for the Giants offense. We saw in Daniel Jeremiah's Carnell Tate go into number 6, the Cleveland Browns. Don't remember who. I think they took Sonny Styles, didn't they? I every mock I'm seeing, it's Sonny Styles or Carnell Tate here for the most part. Oh, and Caleb Downs actually. A few mocks I've seen Caleb Downs, come to think of it. I mean, would you be happy with this at 5, Andrew?
Yeah, as I said, if we take an Ohio State player at 5, then we've nailed it, haven't we? I don't think you can go wrong with any of those 3. I think we have got 2 really good safeties in Holland and Nubin, so I don't think it's necessarily a desperate need to go for a safety and Downs, despite the fact he's possibly the best player in the draft. So I do see the need, and like he says, the compliment that Tate will give Neighbors is perfect. It's fit here, isn't it? And he will play and complement it really, really well. So I'm happy. I've always been happy with Tate at this pick. It's what I would do if I was the general manager. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you went. The only thing that sort of pushes me in the way of this is you did go out and get some wide receiver pieces in the free agency. I know they're not Carnell Tate. I know the age isn't on their side. I get that. But it maybe feels like a hat and a hat situation when, you know, when maybe you could have a top 10 pick next year if you feel that way. But a lot of people think the Giants may get to even the playoffs this season. I think there's a potential that you might push for that. So is it worth getting that young offensive talent now, I suppose, rather than waiting for a draft that's going to be a lot more stacked with offensive talent, and you get a talent down the board, and maybe here you could go with, you know, Caleb Downs' generation in some people's eyes as well as a player that in that position. You said it yourself last week that Ohio State built their defense around Caleb Downs, and maybe an NFL team might do that as well. I don't know, but let's go
just quickly on it. I just sort of thought of something. Should we not be expecting the Giants to actually go defense? I know that they've got a good defense already. It's on paper, and we feel that it's done well. But with John Harbaugh there, the way that he's set up that team in Baltimore over the years, wide receiver has never really felt like a massive priority. And when you've already got Malik Neighbors there, it does kind of make you feel like that's not the angle that they're going to go down. So therefore, it kind of feels like either you could go O-line, but I don't think he would at that pick. I kind of feel like if he has any sort of say in it, is he not going to go for someone like Downs or Styles? Probably more Downs would make more sense to me for what's there. And it just kind of feels like, yeah, okay, I've got no problem with them taking a wide receiver if they want, but it does feel a little bit going against what Harbaugh has done over the years in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think the Sonny Styles pick is probably more realistic in terms
what
of
he would want.
It's a need because we've lost Bobby Okereke, and also talking about versatility. Sonny Styles used to play safety, so if that's the case, then you can move him around a little bit. I do think obviously Downs, like you say, is generational, so he might just go, do you know what, it's a luxury pick here, I'll take best player available. Like I said, I don't think you can go wrong if you pick one of the 3. I think I don't have any preference in terms of being upset about that. I have what I would pick if I was GM, but you pick any of those 3, I'm a happy fan.
On to Cleveland with taking Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Does say in the comments here that, maybe not the best tackle in this draft, but does have experience at left tackle, and that is what they need is left tackle. The other guys, Francis Mano and Spencer Fano, maybe better prospects, but do play right tackle. Wouldn't there be that transition there? They go Monroe Freeling again, a player that has crept up the mock draft boards I've seen everywhere. They're building the O-line to protect what they hope is Shedeur Sanders for their future, isn't it? I think it's a smart move by Cleveland here, Andrew.
No, I think this is the wrong way round.
Okay.
They've brought in a lot of O-line guys in free agency, haven't they? They brought in Zion Johnson, Jenkins, Titus Howard at right tackle. I do really like DeJuan Jones. DeJuan Jones' rookie year was fantastic. He did have his second year wasn't as good. They brought back Tevin Jenkins. And I said it last week with Daniel Jeremiah's because I think he got it the right way round. I think the talent is better at wide receiver here than it is later on in the draft. So I do agree that they need wide receiver and tackle or O-line. I would just do it the other way around because I think the value is better. And I think that, as we can see with a lot of Joel Klatt when he does them, he picks who he thinks that team should go for rather than what he thinks that might happen in the NFL. And he's picked Monroe Freeling because he plays left tackle, and left tackle is where he thinks that the hole is over talent, which I can't see happening in the actual draft itself. I think you got to go with value at position, and this is a bit of a reach for me.
We should also note while we're on it that this was published March 16th or 17th, I believe. So any moves that have happened post then, which hasn't been many, admittedly, have probably not been caught on this. But thank you, Andrew, for elaborating on Klatt's picks as well. Number 7, the Washington Commanders take a high state linebacker, Sonny Styles. I'm now getting into more of the camp where Commanders, it just needs to be BPA. I think it's just whatever falls to them. They need to go best player available here. I think they're a little bit more holy than we realize, and maybe people realize, I suppose, because I think some people are just be like, oh, well, get Jay Daniels a full healthy year next year. They don't have as many injuries, etc., etc. They got to that NFC Championship game. Like, I think they've got a fair bit they need to build on, this Commanders team. Adam, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've brought in a lot of players, haven't they, through free agency, and they have spent quite a bit on the defense. But yeah, I think it's the right. Look, I'm not against it. I think it is probably the best player available. To me, it's that or it's O-line. It really is a matter of, because the O-line is basically designed to try and keep Jaden Daniels upright, which is obviously a big issue for him. But when you've got the sort of talent of Sonny Styles there, you've got, if you went Caleb Downs again, I wouldn't be overly surprised. They have brought in linebackers, they have brought in safeties. They didn't really bring anything in on the O-line, but I kind of feel like the O-line's not that bad.
Their O-line's young as well, isn't it? They bought Josh Connolly.
Exactly. It's got Josh Connolly there. I mean,
quite a bit.
You wouldn't think wide receiver here, maybe?
Yes, that's where I'd go. I think the value at wide receivers there.
Because Terry McLaurin, and
they've got a desperate need at wide receiver. They've got.
I don't think the wide receivers are as talented as Styles or Downs.
No, I agree with that. I just think long-term future as well. If Jaden Daniels, eventually you're going to have to pay him in a few years' time, and you're going to waste his cheaper years if you're not supporting him on offense. So your Super Bowl window is going to close pretty quickly once you pay him. Yet those years you're going to surround him with Treylon Burks and Luke McCaffrey. That just seems defeatist.
And De'Ami Brown, don't be rude
De'Ami
about
Brown
it.
and Van Jefferson.
No, I get what you mean. I just think that to a certain extent you've got to go for the best player that's there.
Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC, going to the New Orleans Saints at pick 8. Just as we were saying, the Commander should have gone wide receiver. I'm fine with this. I'm really fine with this. I think I just think the Saints are building. They're building something, and I sort of trust their process. So if this was the pick for them, I think I'd be quite bullish with it as a Saints fan. If this was their pick, I'd be very happy with this. Give Shook a bit more to deal with. Good player. if he has a great first year, great second year, you can move off of Chris Olave in their brain probably, who gets more expensive and more.
I think. Well, there's lots of talks, isn't there, that they're
Older.
talking about an extension for Chris Olave, aren't they? Currently, obviously they are pick 42 in round 2. So in terms of value, they need help at edge rusher and that front 7 for me. I've got no issue with them taking a wide receiver because the value is there. It's just what's available. Top of the second, is there? I think there's still wide receivers available there that would complement Olave, because Olave is fantastic. So I don't think they're desperate for a wide receiver. So, if a Denzel Boston or someone like that drops out first, they'll get them. So I think you could, taking one of the best edge rushers, because we've only had 2 go so far, I think is probably more sensible at this pick.
Yeah, I feel the fact that Reuben Bain hasn't gone is a little surprising. I think that would have been the one that would have made sense for them, given that who's got Reese has gone and Bailey's gone. So yeah, I think Reuben Bain would have made sense for me. But yeah, it's not a bad idea. Going for Lemon, it's just not quite. Feels a little bit round the wrong way.
Number 9, Mansour Delane from LSU, the cornerback going to the Kansas City Chiefs. We talked about this in Darren Jeremiah's one. We're talking about it in Joel Klatt's one, and because they need cornerback. I don't think they did in Jeremiah's mock, but he's gone that way, as he stated in the blurb below. Is traded Trent McDuffie, lost Jalen Watson in free agency. No cornerback has gone yet. You're gonna get a stud corner here. You're gonna get the best, in their mind, the best corner in the draft anyway. In their mind, it might not be to everybody, but he's a top player.
No-brainer pick for me. This is what we said with Jeremiah. He missed the trick here, not taking the first cornerback off the board.
And then to round out the top 10, Reuben Bain, as you just mentioned a moment ago, going to the Cincinnati Bengals at 10 out of Miami. Yes, they gave Boye Mafe a load of money, got rid of Trey Hendrickson. I think this was the Caleb Downs pick. I think for Daniel Jeremiah's, I'm fine with this. I do think it's a need. I'm not entirely convinced Boye Mafe's all that worth it for me. And you get a young guy that you can fall back on just in case. I'm fine with this.
I think it's a position that they can strengthen at. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally prefer Downs. In fact, to be honest, I can't believe that Downs isn't in the top 10. I know he's a safety. I know people will say position, but I just think it's...
Well, while we're on that, how are you two feeling about his top 10?
I think there's a few reaches in it, but like I say, you're always going to get reaches in Joel Klatt because he does it based on what he thinks the team should pick, rather than actually what will happen in the NFL. So I think there is a few reaches in there, but
I think the positions are wrong.
Yeah.
Like the Giants, I mean, you can go wide receiver. I'm not against it. I just don't think that I would do it. I think I would go more for the players. I think that for the Browns, he's got an O-line, which I think we were saying wide receiver, and also the wrong O-line guy. Personally, I know I can understand his logic, but the wrong one for me. Commanders linebacker, you were saying you felt wide receiver made more sense. Saints wide receiver, we're saying edge felt like more sense. Yeah, I mean, Bain is going to be a really good edge rusher, and the Bengals there's no downside to having, more than a couple of good edge rushers. It's only a good thing. It kind of feels like the Bengals defense, you could kind of go anywhere, and the fact that you've got the guy that Andrew says arguably the best player in the draft, he hasn't gone in the top 10.
Well, this defense is that bad that they're in a position now to go, we can build a defense around a player. So, and they don't have strength at safety. So I think this is the perfect spot for him to go. Obviously, they brought it. They got Shamar Stewart. They brought in Boy Maffei. So they've got two younger, talented edge rushers. Yes, I do think they need more help at that position. But I think they're in a position to say, let's bring in Caleb Downs and build around him. I think that's where they should be. But as long as they go defense, then I think that they're in the right direction.
We'll go on to the 11th pick. Miami Dolphins taking Francis Marinoa, offensive tackle out of Miami, staying in state. Dolphins have holes everywhere, particularly along the offensive line. Lucky for them, there's an offensive tackle who played his college ball in the same stadium as them, who can slot right in there. Yeah, I mean, a bit BPA again for me, in a way, for like the same with Commanders. Dolphins need everything and anything. Don't hate it. If you're not, if he's not the offensive tackle of the future for Malik Willis, he is for the quarterback they'll get next year. So I'm fine with them taking that tackle a year early to have a solid, have a guy that they feel is solid in place. He'll be playing right tackle. I assume.
I think they'll have to slot him in at left tackle. I think that's where their issue is. They've got a couple of decent pieces, haven't they? At tackling in Austin Jackson, Patrick Paul. So they've got a couple of tackles. I think your weak spot there would probably be left tackle. So I think they might want to move him over and see what he can do over there. Adam, I don't know what your thoughts are with that.
Could transition to guard, Adam?
I mean, Savanea.
He deserves a shot at tackle, but yeah, I mean, you could transition to guard if you really wanted to. You've got Savanea there. I mean, they've just brought in Sailor from the Chargers as well, to go at right guard. So again, could have gone pretty much anywhere on the defense. It feels like a slightly odd pick. We've been banging on for ages about corner and how much of a problem that is. I know that Mansour Delane's gone, but Jamod McCoy is still around, and
And the big name that's coming up next that we've gone on about.
I'm not against it because of how good we feel that Marinoa is. So it's like we feel like he's going to be a really, really good O-line guy. He's going to be able to protect quarterback. So it's not a bad pick. It's just I think there are other places that he could have gone, and I feel like corner, or as you were saying, who's about to come up, safety would not be the worst idea in the world either.
And let's face it, Jeff Happy likes, Xavier McKinney at Green Bay. He works, he knows, he likes his safeties in them spots. On a scale of 1 to 10, Andrew, how pissed would you be if Caleb Downs got picked 12 by the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Not
an ideal evening, no.
No, over the years, there have been a fair few players that I've really liked, and then I've had to dislike them when they start playing well. So, it would upset me if he goes there, he turns out to be the amazing player that we think he is, and then I have to dislike him.
So, but do we honestly think this is the right pick for Dallas, though? It has to be defense. We know that. I
mean, their secondary was the problem, wasn't it?
Yeah. If you want to go corner, you want to go safety, I don't think it really matters. If Downs is there, they'd be stupid not to. So I think it makes sense, but I would be stunned if he was there.
It has the Jerry Jones wow factor pick, doesn't it? About it, like you can see Jerry loving this pick. Like for some people, best player in college football. Yeah, like blue chip school, blue chip player. Like it does scream a Cowboy pick in a way. If he got to this point, but like you both said, getting to 12 for Caleb is probably maybe a little ambitious, maybe. Even though I'm a little bit in the camp of this is where I think he will go in this range. I think he'll go anywhere between 12 and 15 for me.
But are you just saying that because he's a safety?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think it matters a lot more than you guys have both echoed. I just honestly do. I just think as much as we want to say that the modern NFL, there's a lot of There's a lot of old people in them. Well, none older than Jerry Jones, I suppose, at 12. But yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. The Rams, with their pick that was the Atlanta Falcons last year, take Kenyon Sadiq to add to their 9 other quite good tight ends that they have in LA. I'm a bit puzzled by this one, to be honest with you. He's put in, Matt, I'm going to try and do it in his tone, I suppose. Man, the Rams have been aggressive. Their pass defense has quickly improved, so that's settled. How about their passing game, though? Devontae Adams is getting a bit older, turning 34. Matthew Stafford's not going to play forever, but he has still got some juice. I love the thought of the Rams picking up Sadiq, who can replace Adams as a red zone threat down the line. I just don't love it. I'm going to say it's not that I dislike the player. I think it would be... It was a little bit like when he got picked in Jeremiah's and we were like for the 49ers and we're like, wow, him in Shanahan's offense, that would be really fun. Sadiq at the Rams, it would be lights out fun. It would be great. I just don't, for me, this doesn't make sense.
No, they've invested a lot into the tight end position. They brought in Terrace Ferguson, didn't they, from Oregon? Funny enough. So and then Colby Parkinson, they really liked him. And Davis Allen was really good for them. They have brought back Tyler Higbee, haven't they? Again, So you know the fact that they brought Higbee back would indicate to me that they're not going to go in that direction. If they'd let him go, then maybe I would have thought, possibly there's a chance. I understand the thinking behind let's get more weapons, and this weapon can also block, and Stafford is obviously keeping him upright and as well, and I do think Sadiq can block. I think there's a possibility that some people might think that Sadiq is the next like Brock Bowers or that type of, and he's not that type of tight end. You're not going to get the same. He's not Colston Loveland, Brock Bowers. He plays the game a very different way. So I think this is a little rich for Sadiq and not a big need for them, as we've addressed. They've got plenty at the tight end position that I believe is talented as well.
Look true pick.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the logic behind it is that he's not a tight end, though, isn't it? That he's going to be kind of either replacing Devontae Adams if he gets traded, or he becomes someone with the two of them kind of thing as a receiver, which we have kind of said he feels a little bit more like that, doesn't he, rather than a normal tight end. But yeah, I find it a strange one, and I actually find, for me, I would think, would you not want to put a bit more in that O-line?
Well, that's what I was going to say to you.
They're not bad, but there was a few injuries, and I feel like Spencer Farno
on the depth chart, talented O lineman or talented tight ends.
Yeah, I think another O lineman, and especially with Farno still on the board, it kind of makes sense to me.
Number 14, Spencer Farno going to Utah, from Utah, apologies, to the Baltimore Ravens, offensive tackle, as you just stated a second ago. Yeah, I mean, he's got here now. Baltimore have some questions along the offensive line to figure out after their breakdown of the Max Crosby trade, and then getting Trey Hendrickson seemed to all work out. Like you said here, Lamar Jackson, more protection is never a bad idea. I don't hate this. I'm fine. I think in Daniel Jeremiah's, they went defensively. I'd be fine if it was O-line or
receiver, didn't they? In Jeremiah's. I think it was.
Did he go for Jordan Tyson?
I think it was me that. Well, yeah, I think I wanted them to go defense, and he went.
Okay. Well, I'd be fine with defense or offensive tackle here. I'm quite okay with that, or O lineman anyway.
I suppose at the end, this is a really difficult one because it's really going to depend on what Jesse Minter and the whole lot want to do, because it's new coaching stuff. But you have to think that the logic would be to lean on Derrick Henry, so therefore you want fit O-line guys in order to be able to do that.
And his coaching tree that he's come from tells us it's a trenches guy. If he's going to be like his coaching tree has been, where he's come from, it's going to be D-line, O-line.
Yeah,
that's how it seems to me.
Yeah, that would make sense. So I feel like it's not a bad idea. And also, Fano, really good O-line guy. We had Marinoa and Fano as our top two, and it kind of felt like they weren't mega far off of each other. And then it felt like there was a drop after that. So it's like I think that he's a good one. If you can get him at 14, I think it's a decent one to get there.
Yeah, you talk about building around the fact that it'll be Derrick Henry, but when you've got Lamar Jackson as well,
of course,
that dual threat O-line is what you want.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 15 take a guy that fell in Daniel Jeremiah's, and both of you went, do not get why he's falling. That's the Auburn edge, Keldrick Falk. Klatt says here, Falk's a great player, excellent athlete, and is long, 6'6" with a ton of upside. We're only just seeing the beginning of what he could potentially turn into. You two both seem very bullish on him last week. Here at 15, he was mid-20s, end of 20s in Daniel Jeremiah's. Klatt's got him going here at 15 to the Bucks. I'm fine with the pick for the Bucks, as in like the positional pick. But you guys happy with him being in this range? You think this should be his range rather than the back end of the draft?
Yeah.
Fair enough. The New York Jets at 16. This was this was the Indianapolis Colts trade. Their pick that they traded. They take quarterback from Alabama, Ty Simpson at 16. Is the blood boiling yet, Adam? Is it boiling?
For me,
yeah.
I'm the one who likes Ty Simpson out of the two of us.
Adam was a massive Ty Simpson fan when he watched the most of Ty Simpson out of anybody else in college during the season.
If you want blood boiling, you want to go up there because he ain't going to be happy with him going 16.
Oh.
No.
You'll even hear him say in his little blurb below it that this guy's not ready to start and he needs to sit behind someone and learn. And I'm just not sure the Jets have got time for that. I think, yes, Geno Smith's there, but if it starts getting rocky in the first couple of weeks, the fans are going to go get Ty Simpson in, and he's going to go in too early. It's the team's not ready for that, and it's going to be a whole Sam Darnold or whoever theory again, where he struggles because he's not had the experience and he's not ready for the NFL yet, and it's going to go bad and everyone's going to get fired and they'll bring someone else in and the poor lad's not even going to be given a shot. I think, look, I don't think he's first round talent, but if he went to somewhere like, the Rams and sat behind Stafford, where no one's saying, oh, Stafford's had a bad game, let's get him out and get Ty Simpson in, then I think that he could really learn and progress and maybe be the guy.
I liked him. I think he's got some ability about him. He's not a first round pick. He's Mac Jones, and I liked him, and that's kind of the point. I don't think he should be taken in the first round. I don't even really feel like a team should necessarily trade back in at the back of the first to get him. I don't think he's quite at that level. He kind of, obviously he's not the same build as Tyler Shuck, but I think that he should be taken at around that point. That's where someone should take him and have a go.
Shuck was like mid-second, right?
Sort of just
third.
Quite near the beginning of the second, wasn't he?
I think the issue you've got with that, though, Adam, is when we're saying this guy needs to sit and he needs to learn. You can imagine this with Jordan Love, who people didn't think was a first-round talent. But if they're sitting for a couple of years, by the time you're getting them in, you're giving them a new contract straight away because you've only got the 4 years. And
I can understand that, but I think you're trying to force something if that's the case, and historically that never works, and it's always a disaster if you do it. Also, the Jets have got a ton of picks. They've got loads of picks next year. We've got loads of quarterbacks next year.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be stupid. Don't do it.
You're gonna have a plug and play next year, aren't you? So.
Exactly. Just have a year with Geno Smith and just understand that you're not going to be very good, and if that means that the coaching staff get fired, well, they probably should have been fired already. So start again next year. I think that's what it's going to be. So happy days, Jets fans.
Blake Miller, offensive tackle for Clemson, going 17 to Detroit Lions. They need someone to replace Taylor Decker. I think this is absolutely fine. I don't think we need to dwell on this, do we? This one, I think it's a good pick. Happy for him to go here. Detroit need it.
Yeah, again, I've not got round one talent on him, but he's the safe pick. You know, he's 4 years at right tackle at Clemson, and he's a solid player. Nothing special, nothing, not bad at all. So, if the Lions want that on their island, then they'll be happy.
We didn't get to talk about him in Daniel Jeremiah's because he wasn't drafted, but Peter Woods going to 18 to the Minnesota Vikings, has his edge, but I believe he's a D tackle, isn't he? More.
Yeah, he's inside.
You guys were both quite bullish on him in the last mock and said, can't understand why he's not been picked. Has been picked here at 18. So he's gone from one NFL analyst not having him in the first round at all to another NFL analyst having him at mid-round in the first round. What do you both like about Pete Woods?
Well, he's easily the best interior guy. And the 2024 tape, he was an absolute wrecker. You can see in Joel Klatt's little explanation, I thought he was going to be a top 10 player entering the 2025 season.
I saw people mocking him at the start of the 2025 season as the number one pick.
Yeah.
That's how bullish people were on him.
Look, Clemson had a lot of people saying that they were going to be in the mix for the national championship. Their team is that strong and that good. They'll make a run in the playoffs and they have a chance. And they fell short of that. And I think that the likes of Woods and Parker have been, and maybe a few of the others are being punished by Clemson's sort of falling short of the bar, and it's dropped them down boards. But I think they're all, if you watch the tape, they're all individually talented enough to fit in with an NFL team.
Agreed.
Agreed. 19, the Carolina Panthers go Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama. It says here, left tackle Ikem Ekwonu seems likely to miss the entire 2026 season after rupturing his patella tendon in the Panthers' playoff loss to the Rams. Actually didn't know that. Did not know that, to be honest with you. I completely forgot that happened. So while the Panthers just recently signed Packers left tackle Rasheed Walker, it's smart for them to get as much protection in the front of the quarterback, Bryce Young. Proctor's an athletic left tackle considering his tremendous size of 6'7" and 350 pounds. So Bryce Young will definitely still not be able to see over his O-line. As much as you all know that I'm a very, very big Bryce Young fan. I do really like him. I actually met a very patriotic Carolina Panther in Air Pub the other week, actually. And we got a chance. She works with a friend of mine, and we were talking about football. And I said, "Oh, you support?" She said, "I'm from Carolina, big Panthers fan, huge Bryce Young fan." Was actually an intern at UNC and was in the Drake May meeting when he was getting interviews for the NFL. I thought that was so outstandingly cool. It was a weird shit. She was like, "I can't believe I'm telling someone this, and someone actually knows who Drake May is, let alone about Carolina Panthers and stuff." Fine by me. I didn't realize Ike Ekwonu was that injured. Did not realize that. That's passed me by.
I think the position's right. I've got no problem with the position. A lot of O-line guys have gone already. So, he's going to be stuck with Evan Neal, isn't he? So, fair enough.
Well, if they do have to move him inside, it's not a problem when Ike Ekwonu is back. So, but then you've got the problem of him trying to see over a 6'7" guy.
6'7" guy is going to be pushed back into him all the time as well.
He's not going to be pushed back. He's definitely not going to be pushed back. He's got
350 pounds. He better not be bloody pushed back. He better hold his ground.
The trouble was he kept getting beaten by smaller, quicker guys around the outside. And if you're on the inside, you're not going to get beat by quicker guys, are you? No.
It's just going to be a man mountain crashing into another man mountain, isn't it? Yeah. 20, Dallas Cowboys looking to completely revamp their secondary, taking Jamad McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee. This is the with the Green Bay Packers trade. So it took Caleb Downs at 12. 8 picks later, they take Jamad McCoy. Again, for some people, the number one cornerback, didn't play last season, but put enough on tape in 2024 to be considered potentially the top cornerback in this draft. Dallas revamping their secondary. They need to do it. It's got to be. I think it's got to be a defensive pick. I think Dallas Cowboys fans are going to be completely happy with both of these picks if it happened, and also would be happy with back-to-back defensive picks within the first round. I say back-to-back, but you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, a little bit surprised they haven't addressed edge, because that was an area they need to replace Parsons. They did it with the interior, so that's a slight.
Got Rashawn Gary plays edge.
Yeah, I suppose they did address it there, didn't they? Yeah, but equally, I've got no. As long as they go defensive with both their picks, then that's fine. 2 great picks as well. 2 fantastic, great value.
Yeah, be very annoying to be a Giants fan, I can imagine. 21.
He's got up. He's so upset. He's run off.
21, Pittsburgh Steelers taking Vega Ioane, guard out of Penn State. Thankfully, in this article, it's just got his nickname rather than his whole name that you guys made me say the other day. Fine with this? Fine with it?
You got to be happy with that, Fred.
Absolutely fine with it. Lovely. Good stuff. Just keep building that O-line for that eventual quarterback that we get. Wonder who that may be at this point. I wait with bated breath, Aaron Rodgers. I won't hold my breath, but bated breath.
I wouldn't hold it. You're going to be going forever if you're going to hold it.
Yeah, I'll be going blue. 22, Texas Tech, Los Angeles Chargers take Lee Hunter. Jesse Minter might be gone as defensive coordinator, but the principles of that defense still remain. 6'3", but plays bigger than his size. I do not know who Lee Hunter is. Andrew,
Adam's a big fan.
You are an outrage. How dare you say these things?
Go ahead. Tell me why this is a great pick.
I think Lee Hunter has got. He does play bigger than his size. He is right. I think he's got everything that you need to play as defensive tackle. It makes sense given the team, and like you said about the Ravens and the way that coaching tree goes. It's always D-line, O-line. I think that he will do really well there. I think that first round is a bit of a reach, I have to say. However, I would come out and say they've brought in Dalvin Tomlinson to play on the D-line as well, but I think it's just what they do, isn't it? They just keep on going O-line, D-line and doing as well as you want. A lot of the top O-line guys have gone, but I would be happy with, if I was a Chargers fan, I'd be happy taking Hunter. I would probably feel that I may have reached a little bit for him though, because
you've still got Caden McDonald and you've still got Caleb Banks still on.
Yeah, I can understand why you would go for Hunter over them. Banks obviously has had the injury problems. McDonald's not bad. He's a good one. I'd probably have him reasonably close though, so I can kind of understand it, but it just feels a little high. But I think he's a very, very good D-line guy that will do well for him.
Philadelphia Eagles at 23 take Akeem Mesidor, edge Miami. The Eagles are going to draft an O-lineman or a defensive lineman. That's just what they do, right? We've just said it about the Chargers. This is what they do, isn't it, as well? Apart from, people keep going on about they need more cornerbacks. I keep hearing that, according to NFL analysts. I'm like, really?
I think the issue is that they're going to have to pay them all at the same time, aren't they? They had a really good run of drafting people. And you're going to have to pay Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Then they're going to have to pay.
They've paid Jordan Davis already. Sorry,
DeJean and Mitchell were both in the same year, weren't they?
Yeah. So whether you can afford all of them is going to be the case. So I think with this pick, it's where do we need to replace for the future with them? Where are we not going to be able to afford? And they've just not been able to afford Jalen Phillips. So maybe that's why he's gone down here. But you can equally make the same argument with corner that they might have to let one of them go.
But they could hold and wait for corner in the second round, or maybe even go next year. Could feel like they could go next year and sit confident with it. I think Akeem Mesidor fills a need right now. They've been, though they were tremendous on defense, they are tremendous on defense for the most part. they have lost that talent, that Super Bowl winning talent. A lot of that's gone, and they do need to get a bit younger there. And like you said, it is getting expensive. So it's what the Eagles do. They draft O-line and D-line.
Mesador's ready to go now as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, and he's a little bit older, but he's ready to go now. So it makes sense for a team that's competing.
Omar Cooper at 24 will go into the Cleveland Browns from Indiana, wide receiver. Again, I think we said about this with David. Really, there's only 3 wide receivers should go in the first round. Everything else is a reach, but it wouldn't be unlike the Cleveland Browns to reach. And we said it last week, and we've said it today. Their 2 first-round picks need to be O-line and wide receiver. Both your opinions, it should be wide receiver at that other pick and O-lineman here at 24. They still get a pretty good wide receiver, though, here at 24 in this draft.
Well, it's kind of worked because he hasn't taken wide receiver anywhere else. So it's like it's sort of worked.
Jordan Tyson's still on the board as
well.
It's
sort of worked in that. Yeah, I was going to say they haven't taken Jordan Tyson, though. So it kind of feels like the position isn't necessarily the wrong one. I think it's the wrong guy, personally.
Yeah, we could ask the question. We've seen 2 now. So would you rather have Carnell Tate and like a Caleb Lomu, or would you rather have Monroe Freeling and Omar Cooper Jr.? Which one is there more value in? And I think it's the first one. Yeah, and that's why you do it the other way around.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can see. I think, like we've said in both drafts, they're right positions, but just which way around would you rather it? And I think you're both right that I would prefer to go wide receiver, O-line, rather than vice versa. Speaking of Jordan Tyson, goes to Chicago Bears at 25, Arizona State wide receiver. After DJ Moore goes, joins a room of now I've got to pull names out.
Roma Dunze and
Luther Burden,
and then Colston Loveland, who would be used in that as well, won't he?
I don't particularly like this one, to be honest with you.
No, their problem was defense, wasn't it? That was their problem last year. That's what didn't get them to all the way to the final, not their offense. And DJ Moore was used sparingly, so it's not as if they've lost their number 1 guy. Burden and Adunze were ready to step in and take that 1 spot. So defense for me is where they should have gone on this. I probably would have gone front 7 as well. I think the value's still there.
Feels like it would be a very young wide receiver core as well if you were to do that. Like it doesn't.
Rome's 2 years, Burden's 1 year, then you get Tyson as a rookie.
It seems like.
Well, we have said that there is a fair few still veteran wide receivers left out there in free agency that would, Keenan Allen would slot in.
Be perfect. Yeah.
And let's face it, would be in the long term considerably cheaper. Probably, year contract, not much money. Whereas it's like Tyson to 4, and you've got to pay that money, I suppose. Which I know it's not loads of money at this pick.
Also, are they not kind of competing now?
I agree. Yeah, they are.
So I mean, it just. I don't know. I think a defensive guy would make sense. Like we were saying, them a couple of D-line guys that are still out there would have made a lot more sense, I think, than this one.
They have lost Jaquan Brisker. So and then Dylan Finneman has gone at the safety for Oregon, has gone to Buffalo at 26. I think safety even makes more sense than.
Well, they brought in Kobe Bryant, didn't they, from the Seahawks, and Cam Lewis, didn't they? So they've addressed the safety in free agency, haven't they?
Did Finneman go into Buffalo? I think that's fine by me.
I thought it was O-line, D-line for them, to be fair, brutally honest with me, for the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the D-line guys, I'm a little surprised that they haven't gone for a D-line guy.
Well, we've kind of said that they brought in CJ Gardner-Johnson, didn't they? I think we said with this team that it's championship, Super Bowl or nothing this year. We're bringing in more and making the changes. So I don't think safety makes you a Super Bowl contender. I think, getting pressure on quarterbacks and protecting your own quarterback gets you to Super Bowls.
I've never actually seen him mocked anywhere other than the Vikings.
that is. He always tends to be mocked to the Vikings, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Who are the Vikings? Wait, who do we have Vikings taking? I can't remember now. They've not come up yet, have they? Oh no,
Yeah.
Pete Woods. Yeah, Pete Woods. Apologies. Yeah, sorry about that. Right, who's next? San Francisco 49ers, Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle from Utah at 27. I mean, Trent Williams could go. That is a legit thing. Need to replace him. Can Lomu be that guy? He says here, Lomu's a really good player, and these Utah offensive linemen are ready to play at the next level.
I think even if he's not that guy, it would be beneficial if Williams does stay for him to learn for a year behind him and then sort of like operate in that way. So it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like the secondary needs a bit of help, I would argue, but not quite sure who you would bring in at this point. For the secondary.
I think they've shown over the years that injuries on defense they can sort that defense out.
So I think the O-line does them.
McCaffrey, Brock Purdy led O-line is the right way to go. You need to do that. And Caleb Lomu is a left tackle as well. So I like this pick.
28, Max Iheanacho, the offensive tackle from Arizona State, going to Houston. I mean, you could still go wide receiver here. I think with Houston.
No. You said this last week.
You two both nibbled. Come on, behave yourselves. Come on, put your big boy pants on. Behave yourselves. Think about what I'm saying. Obviously, I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice, was I? So yeah, Max Iheanacho. It makes sense. Pick. Get the O-line right. Keep CJ Stroud fit. Keep him standing upright. They've got the defense to go all the way. It's just getting that offensive unit right now.
He should be. I think he's going to need time. That's the one thing that we always said about him. I think he's going to need time. He hasn't played that much, but he is an
Brandon Smith to play right tackle. So I think Ursary at left tackle is good. So I think he has got time to learn there. And I think that's a fantastic pick for them for the future as well. I really like that pick.
Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety from Toledo, going to the Kansas City Chiefs, formerly of the Rams, pick 29 here. Really like McNeil-Warren's game, and I think he could be a great talent injection for that Chiefs secondary. Kansas City also needs some young and talented players who come cheap. So they take Mansour Delane at 9. They then take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Again, a little bit like the Cowboys, doing that double dip on the secondary. Makes sense. Completely makes sense. I mean, we saw what Tyrann Mathieu did in this defense and also, I mean, oh gosh, I can't even remember his name. The safety they did have. I've even interviewed him. Oh, and he's gone somewhere. His name's escaped me. It doesn't matter. I won't remember it.
Cook?
Yeah. What?
Was it Cook?
Cook, yeah, Ryan Cook. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, both Mathieu and Cook played incredibly in the safety position for this Chiefs defense under Steve Spagnuolo. So he knows how to get the best out of them. It's actually a pretty ideal situation for McNeil-Warren, isn't it? Really.
I think there's a lot of people think that he's going to be the new Eman Wari sort of thing as well. So I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea to get someone like that in. So yeah, it is very much about the defense, I think, isn't it, for the Chiefs this year, and that's what they need to focus on. So yeah, I think they're both pretty decent picks for them.
Number 30, Denver Broncos take Casey Concepcion, wide receiver from Texas A&M. Says here, Broncos are able to retain key linebackers in free agency. So Georgia's CJ Allen probably isn't an option here, they say. Would you disagree or agree?
This is prior to the Waddle
This
trade.
Was prior to the Waddle trade. Yeah. Yes, you're very right.
So he's bang on with what he's saying, isn't he? Because they've gone out and done that, but they've done it with Waddle rather than Conception, haven't they? So this would have been perfect in that world, but obviously no longer is going to be that pick.
Concepcion, do you think someone might take him in the first round. I've seen him.
Yeah,
I've seen him in first round in mocks, and now I've seen him going definitely in second. When I've seen like the 1-2 round mocks by some people, I've seen him going in that first to second round. Andrew, you said definitely first.
I think he's back end of the first. If not, it'll be very, very early second. You know, if the Giants go Sonny Styles and he drops to the second, he won't get past the Giants in the second round if that's the case.
New England Patriots on the clock at 31, taking Cassius Howe, Texas A&M edge. I mean, yeah, I think most mocks I'm seeing is Patriots taking an edge rusher. It feels like that's inevitable. I mean, and again, a really good player out of A&M who's going here. So I've seen him mocked at this range very consistently.
Yeah, he does seem to be around the back of the first, doesn't he? I think that he's a solid edge rusher. I think a lot of these edge rushers are kind of all much of a muchness, to be honest, once you're sort of towards this point. So he wouldn't be a bad one to go for. Don't have a problem with him going edge. I think that it's something they can go for and build up on that defense. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it, with Vrabel in charge, that he would want that as well. So yeah, not a bad pick.
Much of a muchness, but TJ Parker going to Seattle at 32. I thought you were both pretty high on the Clemson.
That's this one up here.
Would you have, if in your ideal world, would you have this your way around then, Andrew?
I think TJ Parker is.
No, sorry, that's not true. In your ideal world, TJ Parker would be about pick 10 or something. No?
I mean, yeah, I've got him down. Well, I had him down as my edge. Well, I've got him edge 3 or 4, not including Reese as an edge at the time. So, I think he's one of, as we were saying with Woods, I think he's being punished for the fact that Clemson didn't live up to the heights they were supposed to. But talent is there for me. I'm really excited for Parker wherever he goes. I think he's going to be a standout performer. So, I'm not sure. Did the Seahawks need to go? I thought cornerback would be more of a concern for them.
Yeah,
they got rid of Maffei though, didn't they?
Yeah, I suppose they have got rid of Boy Maffei.
But he wasn't like every down starter for them, was he?
No, I get that, but I just wonder whether there's an element of wanting to just keep the depth there. And
sure,
this isn't me saying something, Stu, because I admittedly have had absolutely no sleep and have been very early for work. Could you tease a wide receiver here? I know you've got JSN. I know that. I'm not that sleep deprived and dumb. But you have, it is sort of him and who, you know?
Well, they brought back Shaheed and Cooper Kupp will still be there. I thought Torrey Horton played well when he came on.
He's a bit Shaheed-like though, isn't he?
Haven't they also managed to secure Jake Bobo back? I know, obviously he's not lighting up the world, but depth seems to be there if they need to rest anyone. If you start in Shaheed, JSN, and Cooper Kupp.
I'm just thinking you could take your Cooper Kupp replacement here.
Who would you have though? Trying to think, who's left?
Wide receiver wise,
yeah.
You probably look at
they clearly don't. Yeah, but they clearly don't want that, do they? They got rid of DK Metcalf.
He's not a slot guy. Your next slot guy is maybe Jeremy Bernard or probably Bernard.
Yeah.
Or Zachariah Branch is probably the next slot guys. I think first round is a reach for those.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the end of the Joel Klatt mock draft. Overall thoughts, feelings, mixed emotions. Still sitting on with not the right positions. Do agree with most of these players should go in the first round. Disagree.
Yeah, I think the names wise, I think they're all like what we're saying is the first round, as Adam stated early into it. Maybe position and selection isn't quite there with this one.
Yeah, I'm not overly fussed on the. I think certainly the top 10. I think that, obviously the very top is fine, but I think the top 10, it feels a little bit like not sure. I don't think he's quite got it right. But then if this is what he believes rather than what he thinks is going to happen, kind of thing, then I suppose you can't really criticize him for that. It's what he thinks.
I suppose the difference is with that, though. Usually, everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Joel Klatt, but usually his argument, and when you listen to it, I'll try and convince Adam that he's made the right decision. I'm going, no, Adam, this is what they should do. This is correct. And I feel like this year I'm not. So
no.
Yeah,
it's not just like the written word thing. And if you heard it audio wise and heard his side of the story, you'd be like, actually, I'm bought in. Even when he's done that, you've gone, don't really agree with you there, Joel.
Yeah,
fair enough. I think maybe it's just is it just the fact that it is just a bit of a bang average draft?
Well,
wise, is that maybe a little bit of why?
I think it's difficult to say it's a bang average draft. I get what you mean, but I suppose it's more the positions, isn't it? It's more, the O-line feels like it's strong. The edge rusher feels like it's strong. The wide receiver, the running backs, the quarterbacks, where are they? Kind of thing. Apart from the top guys, where are they? And it just kind of makes you feel like especially doing the draft show and stuff like that. When you go through these players and you look at sort of like top tens of guys, it just kind of feels a little bit like, yeah, that guy shouldn't be a round one player. There's no way that guy should be. I would come out and say that at the end, what he's done there, Casey Concepcion, it's a reach that he's in the first round. I think the edge rushers I'm not so bad with, but I'd come out and say Ian Atchell probably shouldn't really be a first round player. Who else have we got that's been on there? I mean, Omar Cooper. We were saying that we only felt like it was only 3 wide receivers because it just wasn't there. Lee Hunter, shouldn't be a first round pick in my opinion. Blake Miller, I know Andrew was saying he doesn't feel like he's necessarily first round. Ty Simpson. There's a few guys here where it's just a little bit like they're not really first round pick.
I suppose this is what you get.
There isn't anyone else to bring in. That's the point.
You get with Klatt. Once the blue chip players have gone, you are getting someone that has analysed these players to better than any of the other guys that we're probably going to look at, because every week in, week out, he's at the games watching them. So you're probably getting difference of opinion here because he's like, I've watched this guy. I don't need to watch the tape. I've seen it in person. And he's saying, I think they're better. So there is a chance, but because the talent isn't there, that these are the right players.
But it's not me necessarily saying that he's wrong. It's more me saying they're not first round quality, but they're in the first round because there isn't anything else. And that I suppose is where you can come out and say that it is a bit of an average year.
Yeah. You could question sort of, well, what's for him, he's so learned and such a student of college football. What's he seeing that I'm not? And it might make you both of you go back. And so I know, Andrew, you probably have already, but Adam, after seeing that, go back and look at some of these players and go, well, actually looking at it from him, but I don't know, maybe listening to it with audio may change your opinion, Adam, on some of these. If you like, I don't know, maybe go and give it a go. But anyway, Andrew, Adam, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Thank you guys for watching. If you did so on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe for this live Mock the Mock. Make sure you catch us doing a whole load more draft stuff as we build up to the draft in the end of April 26th, I believe. Is that where am I got that right off the top of my head?
24th, I think, isn't it?
Thursday, 23rd into the 24th. Starts Thursday, 23rd, but technically the morning of the 24th. So lots going on at the franchise tag. Make sure you give us a follow on social media and make sure you subscribe to that as well. And until then, we'll see you all again very soon.